February 11th, 2011, sharing life session, psychic energy. Today I wanted to discuss its origins, how everyone has it, the different forms it appears as, it manifests as, how it appears in everyday life, how to develop it, protection versus like some of the vulnerable spots, and also individual versus collective. Everyone has psychic energy. It goes hand in hand with that creative energy that we spoke about in earlier sessions, passed along or given to us by our creators. So they go hand in hand. I've encountered and spoken with several individuals that claimed they didn't have psychic energy. They wanted to learn how to get psychic energy. Well, everyone has it at the very basic level. Psychic energy would be like manifests itself in dreams, and everyone dreams. Some remember dreams, some do not. But nonetheless, dreams would be one of the most basic forms of psychic energy at work. Premonitions. There's different terms, a hunch, a vibe. Those are all tied into psychic energy. A sense of feeling that something's about to go wrong or something good is about to happen. A feeling that the phone's about to ring or someone's coming to visit, and it turns out to be true, or it turns out to happen or manifest itself. It's all tied into psychic energy. Again, its origins comes from our creators, which in earlier sessions I said were extraterrestrials, in the sense that they weren't from Earth, and other forces at work in developing the human body, the soul, the consciousness energy, the higher and lower selves, all that. Okay, aside from dreams, and that being most basic, the dreams, the hunches, the vibes, the feelings, I would also venture to say that everyone has that empathic ability. When you're watching something unfold that is sad, and that feeling, that sadness also passes on to you, that's a form of empathic ability. We share it many times, and it's a lot easier for people to see it or accept it when it comes to, say, their children or pets, friends, that sort of thing. But that's just like the tip of the iceberg in the empathic ability. If you were to venture outside of that and still hold true to that energy, we could then expand the ability and feel, for instance, a sadness, a frustration, stress, happiness even, love, with those that aren't immediately in our circle or around us, outside of our friend, our social networks and what have you. Using that empathic ability would allow us then to redirect our thoughts, redirect our energy, and understanding, okay, for instance, a group of people in a different country experiencing something that is very frustrating or very saddening or frightening, and being able to feel the same despite the distance, and then act accordingly. And we have a lot of work to do to get to that point. I mean, there are numerous groups out there that already do that in a sense and want to bring awareness to certain situations going on. And again, at the core, that's what's at work, an empathic ability to understand, okay, that group is being treated unfairly, or that group is experiencing an unsettling situation that we ourselves can tap into and feel as well, and try and do something about that. Okay, some of the different forms of psychic energy. I mentioned dreams, the empathic ability. Empathic ability comes in different ways as well. And so do dreams. So let me back up to dreams. Dreams, your most basic dream, when our conscious mind shuts down and our unconscious mind takes over, it's a natural process that our bodies and our souls and our spirits want to take on in stabilizing what is going on in our lives, in our situations. And when our conscious mind kind of shuts down when we're asleep and the unconscious mind takes over, has a better view and perspective of what's at work around us, of what we've allowed and created around us, and therefore will try to adjust itself. Okay, and different images, voices, colors, all that, sounds, and it takes some interpreting. The better you know yourself, the easier it will be to interpret your own dreams. Not to say that everyone doesn't need some assistance here and there, but that's pretty much how it works with dreams. Of course, when we're awake, we have a tendency to blot certain things out, push it to the back of the mind. Oh, I don't want to think about that now, or out of sight, out of mind, that sort of thing. But when you're asleep, your unconscious will bring it up, and will continue to bring it up. Those that have repetitive dreams, I've done a lot of interpretation with that and broken it down to the very essence of what's going on in their lives. Now, in some of the dreams, some of the situations may change. Names may change, faces may change, that sort of thing. But at the very essence, the unconscious is still trying to work itself out. From that, the empathic ability, and that can be from touching something that belongs to someone else and picking up on what is going on in that person's life, different things that they were experiencing. All that comes into play. Pictures, personal items, you can pick up on the owner's energy, past, present, future. All that lies within their personal possessions. Much like the Native Americans did not like or steered clear or tried to avoid photographs being taken, and their belief was that a piece of the soul was captured, and they're absolutely correct in that sense. So in photographs, I personally have done it, so I wholeheartedly believe it can be done. Just from the little piece that is captured onto the image, one can gain access to the energy of the person in the image, or the photograph or video. Okay, there is also other mediums, tarot cards, and the way tarot cards work. Okay, again, it's all about that energy. It is not the tarot reader that is pulling it out of you. It is your own energy. When a card is laid before you, or the intent is that you pass on to the reader, at some sense, every reader has a different way of reading the cards, but if you are touching the cards, selecting the cards, then it's your energy just pulling the cards that is needed. And although the conscious mind doesn't know what card is being pulled, the unconscious does. And therefore, depending on how good the reader is, it can be quite accurate. And those that are unaware of the process will be amazed. Oh, I don't know how you would know all this. You're right on point, this and that. Well, it's not necessarily the reader or their interpretation. Before you get to that point, it's actually your energy. Okay? With that being said, the better you know yourself, the less of a need you'd have for a tarot reading. And there is also a distinction between reading tarot and living tarot. And the different symbols, the different meanings that the cards have are also present in everyday life. And a good tarot reader would definitely pass on that information to you. I know tarot has become somewhat of a business, and people can make a lot of money reading tarot, but a good tarot reader, the objective is not to have you continue to return and pay for readings, but to pass on that information to you, that you yourself have the ability to work through your situations, work through whatever's going on in your life. Just first acknowledging the signs that are around you, the clues, the signs, the hints, the information that your unconscious is trying to put out there, so that you can gain access to a form of stability in your life and solve certain situations.